Well, good morning. Hello, and thank you for joining us. This week is going to be a little compressed. We're just going to let you stir the pot on your own. We have got the topics, but you have the conversation. And here we're going to share them all with you. I think I might have a voice from above. Is Ziggy out there? Ziggy?
Yes, sir. Hi,
Okay,
Jeff. How are you
good,
doing?
You're speaking. Good to hear me. So we have many things that happened this week. Let me throw down just a few. There was a bus that crashed into the water in Florida. A man also in Florida proposed to be a cop. And the best, I think, is the Florida news is there was a man that was arrested for DUI, and standing in front of the judge, he gave his explanation for his DUI as jazz hands. He says, Officer or Judge, Your Honor, the reason that I was drunk was, like this. Was there any more important news, Ziggy, that went on?
I must have missed all of that Florida news amongst the Pope arriving.
Ah, the Pope. Viva la Popa.
Yes. And our speaker, who left? Not the speaker. The Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House. John Boehner.
Yeah, those are the two other major things that I've seen in the news. I feel like we're missing
things. Also, if you are following the poll results, Clinton has continued to fall in the polls. Just as we spoke before, Bernie Sanders is still rising, and Hillary Clinton is falling. Bill Clinton apparently has told a news organization that it's all the news media's fault for all of these emails. And the whole email debacle that's going on with his wife is a result of the news media. So is this where we see the Democrats take on the Republicans' talking points about how the news media is evil?
That's a great question. I feel like only the Clintons would do that.
Only the Clintons. The Pope, speaking of, was able to bail on a after party that he was supposed to be at. He literally just didn't show up so that he could go and hang out with the homeless. And that's the kind of Pope that we're dealing with. That's
so much different than what we've said about other popes. He seems to be one for the people, a man for the people. He's
trying. That is for certain.
Yeah. He is one of my. Not one of my. He is my favorite pope now.
John Paul was very. I would say John Paul was a good pope.
I love John Paul II. He was also a very good. He had some issues.
Yeah. He was very establishment. Yes.
And this new pope is very anti-establishment. So I'm excited to see the changes in the Catholic Church. But there's still some things they're not handling well, like the controversies and the fact that there's still a lot of priests out there that have not been held accountable.
That's correct. And in the tentative news, there is in geopolitics, apparently there is discussions that the sanctions in Iran will be lifted soon. And there will be lots of ramifications of the sanctions in Iran being lifted by the U.S. companies moving over to a country that has lots of oil money and these types of things. Don't know if that's going to be good or bad. I will let you, our audience, chime in anytime you like.
Fascinating. I didn't know that. I hadn't realized that. The Planned Parenthood is still being funded, from my understanding.
Oh, it is still being funded. Well, but that's a good idea because most of what Planned Parenthood does is not what the news media says they do. The news media says all that they're there to do is to take care of abortions, but they do a lot of other work that nobody else wants to do. And they do it fairly effectively, better than anybody else does. So you gotta take the both pills if you aren't a fan of the abortion conversation that they do. You gotta understand that that's not all that they do.
I agree. I've got one question though on that. I wonder if now very little of their money or quite a bit of their money comes from government.
Oh, it's not. I mean, it's significant, but it's not the lion's share.
Right. So should they be defunded? it's not like we're going to see Planned Parenthood go away the next day.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But it makes for a great talking point and makes for a good political espousal. So those people who are in that get to wank on it.
Sure.
Also in geopolitical news, apparently there is now a racing circuit that is beginning in Cuba.
Go on.
Racing old 1950s cars that people have tried and attempted to soup up as much as possible. And so we'll see how that goes. They're probably releasing too much emissions, which is very different from Volkswagens, which produce very little emissions in the grand scheme of things. But they're getting annihilated for it because the stuff coming out isn't what the computer said was coming out.
This is in Cuba, right?
In Cuba, with the old cars, the old vintage cars that they have, they're starting a drag racing circuit.
Okay. I mean,
but it's probably like 10 guys that are doing
I know. Exactly.
But it makes fun. It's for fun news.
Yeah, it does make for fun news.
And also unfun is Delta had a plane that was grounded, and everybody had to get back off the plane because they found a tarantula in the cargo hold.
Ah!
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Did you have unfun news too?
That was thousands of dollars there.
Thousands and thousands of dollars that it cost them for a damn tarantula.
The pharmaceutical debacle, the Parasite that has decided to take up all of the what would you call that, the patents for these drugs, and then raise them 5,000%.
Oh yeah. And his argument as to why he did that is because he needed to make his money back, which is a rational concept, except for he determined how much he was going to pay for the drug so that he would then have to sell it for X dollars to make his money back. And this is a drug that works on a certain type of parasite, and that parasite comes from cat poo. And the cat poo parasite generally is completely benign and doesn't mess with anybody. But in cases where women are pregnant, or in cases where they have a diminished immune system because of chemotherapy or other issues, then that parasite or that bacteria is able to get hold in the body, and our natural protection can't stop it, and therefore you need this drug. And so he's gone from, it was a $13 pill, or wait, it was $13 for the prescription of 2 weeks or whatever it was. Yeah. And then it's gone up to $5,500 or something ridiculous.
It's a 5,500% increase to $750.
$750
per tablet. Yeah, and the same thing was happening with a AIDS pill. That what it seems to be is that there's a small population that uses these pills, and you're just gouging that small population.
Because the concept is that no humans actually pay for this anymore. It's just corporations in the insurance industry.
Right.
And you can gouge the insurance industry without getting too much backlash from actual voters. And if you pick a small enough portion and get them really, really mad, doesn't matter, because they don't have enough political will to make a big difference.
Right.
But I hope that's changing.
Here's the thing that I'm starting to realize or think about is I haven't seen a customer yet be the spokesperson, the main issue, like show. So if it's not, if in my belief, it's not come from the average user, is this a campaign from the insurance companies against these individuals because they are the ones paying for this in the end?
They're the ones that are getting hammered by this whole thing?
Right.
Maybe.
Which, brilliant PR tactic to put it into the public's, like, now we're all in mad about this, but really it was just possibly the insurance companies that were mad, because he did say, and having been someone that's been on some of these drugs, you can get special assistance.
You can get special assistance
should you need,
but somebody's paying for that. It's not a zero-sum game. Correct. Well, it is a zero-sum game because somebody is paying for that stuff. And the only person who wins are these pharmaceutical companies that really don't have the accountability and don't have the competition that makes good sense. And I think that our FDA that Food and Drug Administration has such great barriers to entry for the medical concept that it makes it almost impossible to have a proper capitalist concept in there. So you can't have other entrants into this particular drug because it takes 10 years to test your drug to do the same thing. So for 10 years, somebody can sit there and gouge individuals until you get your drug to catch up.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love that topic. We should talk more about this next week.
We should. And we will talk about that next week. But to this week, we will all celebrate in the fact that our Florida Gators in the fourth quarter at the very end were able to we are 11 for 11 on fourth downs, and 11 for 11 on fourth downs made us W's. They have made us a W this week against Tennessee, who played a stronger game for most of it than Florida did, but we were able to come away with the win.
I heard it was a sexy game. It was an awesome game to watch.
It was a very awesome game to watch. And fourth downs played a strong role. We got, I believe, 5 fourth down conversions. 5 fourth down conversions.
Dang.
5 for 5, meaning that we did not miss a single fourth down conversion. We should not kick the ball. Just don't kick.
Just don't kick.
Just don't kick. Even if you're 80% on fourth down conversions, don't kick. Just don't kick.
That's insane. That's risky though, but that's awesome that happens to be one of our
strengths,
talents. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
that is an exciting talent to watch, because there's nothing more boring than seeing 3 downs go and then you punt away, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. That's not a fun football game to watch. And if you're going on fourth down, that's exciting to watch.
Yeah, because there's a chance you lose it right there. You flip it over and you give it back to them, and they've got some great footage. Yep. Oh man, awesome! Yay, go Gators!
There you go. And there was lots of turmoil in college football, but that's what college football does. My team, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, did lose to Duke, which is pretty demoralizing. But my main team, University of Florida, has won. And we will talk about all of this and all of these other things that happen in the news next week. We are going to have to cut it short, but we are long in the tooth, but short on time this week. We'll let you think. Wait. Think about these things. Okay. So you don't have to think like I think.
You don't have to think like my illustrious partner there or myself. Thanks.
Nice word, illustrious. But we're going to ask that you think. And we'll see you next week.
Next week.